Perfect.
All
Well,
right.
guys, I'll kick it off, Kyle, if you're ready for it. It
Yep,
is
let's do it.
about to turn 5:02 Central Time, guys. Welcome to your Tuesday Executive Overview, where we share a little bit about the eXp Realty business model and the movement that's happening all across the nation right now. As you can see, we've got almost 40 folks in the room today. I'll ask you guys to all keep your microphones muted till we get to the end for the question and answer session, unless you're being called on to share a quick story. So my name's Curtis Dixon, guys. I'm an agent down here in San Antonio, Texas. I've been building my business with eXp Realty for almost a year and a half. And I'll kind of be your MC tonight and going over a portion of the presentation. But I do want to introduce you guys to your host, a gentleman by the name of Kyle Handy. You know, he's like a brother to me. We've been in business together for almost 3.5 years. I'm grateful every single day for Kyle introducing me to the opportunity at eXp Realty. Kyle's been in real estate for a long time. I won't share his full bio, but he's done almost everything there is under the sun. He's owned his own independent brokerage. He's built a team. You know, he's sold on the builder side. He's been an agent, a top producing agent, still is one. And there's no greater privilege than to have Kyle sharing this experience with you guys tonight. So, Mr. Kyle Handy.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey, thanks so much, Curtis. And welcome to all you guys on the call. Looks like we're up to 41 people. So, woohoo. This is definitely a good call, starting out with lots of people on here. So I'm excited to share this business model with you guys. As Curtis said, I've been in the real estate industry for about 11 years now. I've been with eXp for going on 18 months. And I got a life-changing phone call back in 2017 from my man, Pat Hayes. It was actually, I called him. My story is kind of as this. He had reached out to me for about a year back all the way in 2016. And he's on the call actually tonight, so he can verify this. But he had reached out to me. He had reached out to my mother, who's also a broker here in San Antonio, reached out to one of my agents. And bottom line, I was very focused running my independent brokerage at the time. I had an independent brokerage for about 4 years, had about 15 real estate agents, and just had my head down, just really focused. You know, I said all the normal stuff that normal agents do. I'm happy, you know, I'm focused, I'm doing my thing. I really don't want to, you know, pursue anything. And then one day my life changed. I was doing my taxes. It was April 15th, 2017. And my CPA, who just so happened to be the same CPA as Pat Hayes, he, you know, was just kind of, you know, talking to me after he had done my taxes. He was like, "Hey, by the way, do you know this guy named Pat Hayes?" I was like, "Yeah, he's been trying to reach out to me for, you know, who knows, maybe a year or more." He's like, "Man, I just finished his taxes and man, he's doing some pretty interesting stuff. You ought to give him a call back." And so I thought, all right, man, if your CPA tells you, you know, you need to look into an opportunity and, you know, he sees his numbers, he sees my numbers, you know, maybe there's a little bit of merit there. So I, you know, sure enough, right after that meeting with my CPA, I called up Pat Hayes, said, "All right, man, you got 30 minutes. Let's go grab lunch." And sure enough, you know, after that 30-minute lunch, I was hooked. You know, I had eXp insomnia. I couldn't sleep for days on end as I was just trying to, you know, consume all the information I could about the brokerage. And really what I was trying to do is poke holes in it. And so I hope maybe some of you guys are on this call tonight. Maybe you're trying to poke holes into this business model. But what I'll tell you is I just, you know, studied, watched YouTube videos. I talked to other agents. And, you know, finally, after about 3 weeks, I signed up and I joined eXp Realty. And I've been here for 18 months. It's been an amazing journey. As I'd mentioned, I'd had my brokerage prior to this. I had about 15 agents, which took about 4 years to get that far. I've been with eXp 18 months, and I've already got 119 agents as of today within 18 months. So it's been really an amazing ride, and I'm excited because I still feel like this is just the beginning. You know, as we'll get this into the presentation today, but, you know, we're at 16,000 agents, and I can see us going way higher than that. So for you guys that are on this call, there's a lot to look forward to. I'm going to kick it back over to Curtis so we can kind of get started with the presentation. But then just to kind of give you an overview of what to expect, we will take all of your questions at the end. So feel free to continue putting, you know, questions in the chat box as you're thinking about them. Or, you know, if you want to, you know, unmute yourself at the end and ask that question, feel free to do that as well. But we will get to that right at around 6 o'clock is when we'll be done with the presentation. So anyways, I'll kick it back over to you, Curtis. I'm going to get my screen shared here in a little bit so we can get the presentation up.
Let's do it, Kyle. Appreciate it, guys. And one thing I'll tell you before we jump right in, guys, is I've been an entrepreneur for almost 15 years, which means I failed a whole lot. I've built and sold businesses, but I've also crashed businesses in the run, you know, into the ground before we got off the runway. And as an entrepreneur, what I can tell you is we have to be a little bit crazy. And, Kyle just described something that I think before hearing about the eXp Realty business model is going to sound crazy to a lot of people. Like, what do you mean you have a team of 115 agents across the country in a year? That sounds like something pretty unique. So we're going to cover that a little bit tonight. We're going to talk about who we are, guys, as a brokerage. We're going to talk about the eXp solutions, which is my favorite part to share with you guys because you're all in business to grow, to make more sales, and to improve yourself. And Kyle's actually going to go through a back-end demo sharing the solutions and technology that eXp Realty offers to allow us to do that. We'll talk about our business model, guys. So that's an important section. Take some notes. That's going to talk about stuff that can really impact you and your family and your financial future and your business. And then last but not least, we'll talk about how to join eXp. And because Mr. Tom Trong, one of my amazing mentors, is on this call, I cannot let you guys off the hook tonight. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to ask on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being I'm ready to join eXp Realty right now, where are you? So just be ready for that question, guys. I can't wait to see it in the chat. So Kyle, if you would, kick us off.
Yep. All right.
The gentleman that we thank every time we see him, guys, and our fellow entrepreneur is this gentleman right here, Glen Sanford, the founder and CEO of eXp Realty. For any of you guys who watch, who rings the NASDAQ stock exchange closing bell every single day, this was Glen Sanford last week, I believe on Wednesday. So he might look familiar. And that's because Glen's a serial entrepreneur. So how did he end up there ringing that bell? It took 17 companies before he actually founded eXp Realty. And not unlike a lot of us, Glen ended up in real estate after a career in internet technology and finance. So it wasn't his first career, right? But he ended up in real estate. But I always say, unlike a lot of us, Glen entered with a massive vision. So he knew from day one, his goal was to build a sustainable and scalable business. So out of the gates, he launched what are called expansion teams at the typical franchise. And he was open in 7 locations within 4 years with expansion teams selling in all those locations. But what he ran into in his $40 million a year of team production were 2 main challenges that we all run into as fellow entrepreneurs in the real estate business. Whether you sell a couple homes a year and you're trying to get to 10, or you sell 50 homes a year and you're trying to get to 200, or you've got a team of 50 or a brokerage of 50 and you're trying to get to 2,000, we all run into scalability and sustainability challenges. And so when Glen, like an entrepreneur, sought out to solve these problems, one of the coolest things that I believe he did was, instead of just solve them for himself, instead of just fix the issues for his team and get rid of the bricks and mortar and go online and go digital, he actually said, I'm going to fix this industry for all the real estate agents to come down the road. I'm going to build something scalable and sustainable for them that they can build their business on top of. Think of a platform, guys, like Amazon, like eBay, like Netflix, like Salesforce, right? So in 2009, Glen Sanford founded the brokerage eXp Realty. And this is a quick timeline, guys, this next slide. I'll let you guys read it. I'm just going to hit a couple of highlights because we do want to get into the demonstration and business model portion of the presentation. But we were founded in 2009. But the first thing I highlight, guys, is look at 2010. 1 year later, we were open in 11 states. So I challenge you to imagine starting your business in real estate brand new today and being open in 11 markets a year from now. What would that mean for you, for your family, for the future, right? And that's what eXp Realty was out of the gates. 2011, 2012, we were getting some notoriety. In 2013, something amazing happened, guys. And we're going to talk about how this is relevant for you a little bit later, but the company went public. So Glen actually had a background taking companies public, and he knew that this decision would be critical to actually achieve the vision he had, which was compensating agents in a completely different way. So we went public in 2013. 2014, we launched in Canada. 2015, the coolest sales contest that exists at any brokerage in the country was launched, and you'll hear a little bit more about that a little later. 2016, we tripled our agent count in a single year. But the best highlight to me, guys, came in 2017 and 2018, and that's when we were named a Glassdoor best place to work. The reason I say that's a highlight is because for anybody who reads internet reviews, you know that they're mostly negative. And Glassdoor is an internet review site for places to work. And so, after 8-9 years in existence, for eXp Realty to be named by our agents and staff a best place to work, that's a really good sign for the future. This curve, guys, just a quick math lesson, a reminder, this is called an exponential growth curve. And this is what you want to see in your life and in your business. The traditional up the side of the mountain, that's a linear growth curve. And that's good to grow incrementally, 10, 15% year over year. But the explosion in life, where your life really changes, where you change the life of others, happens on this exponential style growth curve. So this is eXp Realty's agent count over the last few years. And the reason I highlight this, guys, is because there's no denying that a rising tide lifts all ships. And the more agents at eXp, the more top-notch, amazing, unbelievable agents at eXp, and the more agents that we can impact as a brokerage with Glen's model. Now this slide, guys, I can't wait till this is updated to be 2018 numbers, but this is our 2016, 2017 numbers. And if you guys can't see my family in the background, those are my two daughters. That's my son, Jackson. You know, family comes first for me in my life. I've got, you know, pictures all over my office of them. But the reason I bring up my children is because when we talk about production at eXp, you know, we're only 10 years old as a company, and we are one national brokerage. So when you look at the numbers in green, I'm just going to rattle them off for you. Number 1, number 4, number 8, number 18, number 7, and number 10. Here's what I like to say. If my 10-year-old son was in the top 20 in every category nationally that mattered to him in his future, how would I feel about his prospects? How would I feel about his future? And that's what's going on with eXp Realty, guys. In 10 short years, we've climbed the charts as a brokerage nationally in all the statistical categories that matter. And I can't wait to see what the next years look like. Now we get to the part, guys, where Kyle's actually going to jump in and give you a live demonstration of the solutions and tools that eXp Realty agents, team leaders, etc., get to use on the actual back end. And you can typically only get this here, guys, on a Tuesday or on a Sunday night. This is where we share this stuff, or if you know an agent in town that can actually sit down and show it to you. But pay attention, because these are the real tools we use every single day.
I love it. Thank you, Curtis, so much. And, you know, I will just kind of toot our horn. You know, when we joined, I think the eXp curve was kind of like this. So, you know, right after that is when it started going like that. So I'm going to blame it on me and you that maybe we had something to do with that. But no, but anyways, guys, it's been crazy. I do want to point out something too. We've got 60 participants. I mean, eXp, guys, this is going viral. This is probably the most that we've had on any given Tuesday. It's just more and more people on this every single week. And I'm super excited to be able to lead this call. But keep in mind, one thing that's really interesting to note is that the last figure that I heard was that eXp is onboarding 50 agents per day. So just imagine there's 60, well now 61 of us on this call. So just imagine 50 of us are going to be onboarded every single day. So everybody on this call basically. So really, really cool. So like Curtis said, we are going to go over a lot of these tools. I am going to go over them pretty quickly because we want to, you know, get into all the aspects of the business model. But I am going to go over the main ones that I use on a daily basis. And just to give you a little bit of background about my sales background, you know, because it's great to, you know, have a lot of agents in my organization. But at the end of the day, guys, we all still sell a bunch of real estate, like Curtis talked about on one of those other slides with the amount of transactions that we do. I personally did about 64 units last year in real estate, right at around 16 million in volume. And just so you guys know, the only two tools that I use are the eXp tools. Now, I've got a couple things that do like direct mail to my past clients and stuff like that, but I use KV Core on a daily basis. I use eXp World on a daily basis. I use SkySlope every single day. Facebook by Workplace. I use all of these tools each and every day to run my business. So, you know, I don't know if you're doing my level of business or more. I can't speak to more than 64 units if these tools will work, but I'm pretty sure they will. But anybody that's doing, you know, up until that level, I can tell you the tools that eXp provides you are well equipped to, you know, further your business and give you everything you need to actually improve the sales in your business. So that being said, I'm going to switch over real quick, guys. I've got this loaded up. This is our enterprise dashboard. This is what, as an eXp agent, you get access to when you join the company. You're going to get a login and a password. I've already logged in, so you can see this is my dashboard here. This is the first thing that loads up whenever you sign in. And you're going to see all these different tiles, and these different tiles are the tools that we have as eXp agents. And so I'll go through them as quickly, and I'm not going to go through every single one, but I'll go through the ones that I think are most important. But first off, I do want to show you guys the eXp world really briefly. And for any of you on this call, if you've not actually experienced the eXp world, I know I personally thought it was something super crazy when I first was joining the company. I was like, oh, I'll probably never use that. I'll never be in there. It's like a video game. It's kind of weird. You know, I said everything that you've probably heard, right? But I tell you, I am in here every single day doing something or another, right? Whether it's going to the transaction management department and talking to them about a transaction, whether it's going to the accounting department and, you know, getting my disbursement authorization, you know, looked at or cleared up or whatever I've got to do, or going to a training, you know, training or a meeting. I'm in here every single day, and I can access it wherever I have an internet connection. So you can see here, I just logged in. It took me all of about 5 seconds to get this thing opened and going. It's just an icon on my desktop. When I'm ready to load it up, I just click it. And now you can see here, I'm transported into the world. I've got all of the events that are taking place today. Tuesday, you can see we've got about 6 hours of live training. They've already all completed for the day. Most of our trainings do take place in the morning. But you can see here some of the trainings that were taking place today. That's actually, here you can see Curtis had talked about Glen, Sanford at the NASDAQ closing bell. That was a little picture of that. But this is our cloud campus, guys. You know, it's really easy to get used to. You literally just use your keyboard and your mouse to kind of move yourself around. But we've got all sorts of different departments, and I'll show you a couple of them here real quick. But our tech outpost, that is like having your own personal geek squad. You know, you don't have to take your computer down to Best Buy. You literally can log in, have them, you know, go right up to the counter. They'll take control of your mouse, your keyboard, and they can see your screen as long as you give them access, and they can troubleshoot whatever problems that you're having right then and there. So that's a very, very helpful tool. One of our biggest departments, and I just want to point out, guys, that we've got over 300 paid staff that are in this cloud office every single day, Monday through Friday, for 11 hours a day. Since eXp is on all 4 different time zones, we actually have support 11 hours a day, which is more than the traditional brick and mortar brokerage. And we've got over 300 real people, US-based staff in this office every single day. So we got brokerage operations and payment processing over here. You've got agent experience, amphitheater, and agent experience. That's like your own personal concierge. And one of the things I'll do real quick is kind of quickly go back over here. You can see there's actually 60 users in this cloud campus right now, all from all over different parts of the country and maybe even Canada. And but what you're going to see, these are all the different departments up here. And so, for instance, you can see here we've got team services, we've got accounting, we've got agent onboarding and agent experience, which I'm just right by. But our auditorium, and I want to kind of point this out to you guys, this is where we go for all of our training. So we do 30 hours of live training every single week. All you do is you log in, you come right in, you grab yourself a seat. Obviously it's empty today right now because there's nobody training at this time. You click up on the screen, and then you're doing just what you're doing right now. You're sitting on your computer, you're maybe watching a video of somebody, you may be watching like a webinar or a PowerPoint type of presentation, or, you know, again, maybe you're in here for a meeting. But that's how easy it is to go into a training. No more do you have to fight traffic or, you know, worry about spending, you know, half your day just getting into the office, you know, talking to people, leaving. I mean, that could take 3-4 hours, whereas now an hour-long training takes 1 hour. So you can even, they've got a mobile app where if you want, if you're driving, you can have it on audio only and listen to the trainings as you're driving or whatever. So really, really helpful there. I do want to show you real quick our brokerage operations. So, oh, hold on one second. So one of the cool things about our brokerage operations is we've got all 50 states. Here, I'll click it here. I clicked the wrong one. Broker room, there we go. So if you know, whatever state you're in, all you're gonna do is click, like I'm in Texas. So if I wanted to go talk to my broker, I click right on Texas, and it's gonna transport me into the Texas broker room. Now, of course, our brokers have office hours. So in Texas, they're 9 to noon, but I could come in here any morning, Monday through Friday, 9 to noon, and literally talk to my broker right then and there if I want to. Now we've got, of course, all of their, you know, other information, their phone numbers, their emails. So if you still prefer that traditional method, you definitely can. But I will say that I actually use this more than I thought that I would. Just, you know, if I need to go and get a transaction question answered, and then I'm going to go, you know, talk to accounting or something like that, I'll usually just pop up here and talk to my broker at the same time too, and just, you know, ask him whatever maybe has been on my mind or just catch up or whatever. So still can do all of that really, really quickly. And I can do that in 20 or 30 minutes and be on with my day. So that is our cloud office. Let me quit here. Oh, we even got Patricia Zars is in the office. I just saw here. She's in there, and she's actually on this webinar. Let me see if I can see her. There she is. Look at that. Love it. Do a dance, Patricia. Let's see if she'll get the message. That
I just stay parked in the office half the day, guys. I sit out and look at the ocean, just like kick back at a table and keep eXp World running in the background.
Look at that. Pretty cool. Awesome. Well, all right. Well, let me move on, guys, just to the next part of our demo. That was the eXp World. Now, I do want to show you really quickly about those 30 hours of live training, just so you can kind of see some of the different topics and things that we have. But we've got a training calendar. Every week it gets updated. You can see all the different meetings are posted on here. We've got the different trainings that are in blue. So you kind of know which ones you want to plan for to maybe attend. But now say you miss one of these trainings, the really cool thing is we actually got our expressway training where you can log in. You see here, we've got them all categorized. But say I wanted some training on scripts and dialogues. I click in here. Now I've got, FSBOs, I've got expired listings, all these different scripts and dialogues trainings, all videos that I can watch whenever I want. So that's very, very helpful. Down here, the marketing center, I'll touch on this really quickly. So this is really cool. So say you just are a new agent, or maybe you're an experienced agent, but you don't already have your own, marketing materials, or maybe you're ready for a rebranding. eXp's got everything that you could imagine that you would need to run your marketing and your branding. We've got buyer presentations, we've got listing presentations. Of course, we've got flyers for open houses, things that are really, really nice. And all you have to do is the first time you log into this is put your headshot in here, your contact information, everything, and then it'll auto-populate so you can get a form really quickly, or a flyer really quickly. You just might have to change the picture, of course, of the property or whatever that you need. So that's really, really helpful. Let me go back here. You can, of course, order your yard signs from here, order your business cards from here. Conversion, which I'll show you here in a little bit. But I do want to just touch on real quickly on SkySlope. I won't give you the full demo today, but SkySlope, guys, it makes our job so easy. Basically, you just put in there, if you've got a new transaction, whether it's a buyer, whether it's a seller, whether it's a land deal, whether it's residential property, commercial property, and SkySlope, depending on your state, they'll automatically put whatever forms you need for that file to be completed. And it's just like a little checklist, and it's a red light, green light system. As soon as you turn them all in, transaction coordinator is going to review it to make sure it's there and it's filled out. And then once the whole file is completed, it goes to your state broker for them to review the file. And then as long as you do that 2-3 days in advance of your closing, they're going to issue you a disbursement authorization that you can give to your title rep. That way you can actually get paid right at closing. That title rep will know how to cut 2 checks. They'll give one to eXp, they'll give one to you, and you get paid right there at closing. So out of all my 64 deals last year, I got paid at closing on all 64 of them, which I think is a huge testament, not only to SkySlope and to the systems that eXp has, but just to the transaction team on the back end side of eXp and how diligent they are with processing things. So that was really cool. So real quick too, I do want to talk about Facebook Workplace, and then I'll end on conversion. But I've got this loaded up here. This is our Facebook Workplace, guys. It looks just like Facebook, what you're used to, except it's not just like a group or something like that on your normal Facebook. It's an entirely different platform for just eXp agents, but it's going to look a lot the same as your normal Facebook. So you're going to have a news feed. You're going to see different events that are coming up, different trainings that are taking place. All sorts of different things inside here. And then we do have actual different groups inside of Facebook Workplace. So like Real Estate 101, great group. Jonathan Dupree actually hosts that group. But inside here, he's got, books I recommend, videos, different things, whatever you might need. We've got referral groups inside here. So like here's our eXp referral network, constantly referrals being posted up in here. Indiana, Lubbock, Midland, Jacksonville. So if you're in any of those areas that I'm naming and you see that, you might want to take a quick screenshot of these people so you can reach out. But always, referrals coming. I mean, this is just in the last couple hours. So that's a great way. And I will say that that's actually been a huge part of my business. Just since the time that I've been with eXp, which is 18 months, I've had 6 deals closed from agent-to-agent referrals from other eXp Realty agents. One from looking in these groups here, and the other one just from agents reaching out to me because they see me on Facebook Workplace chatting it up or whatever. So really, really cool. And then finally, guys, this is the big one. This is KV Core. This is what we get to run our sales business. It's a front-end website, which is what you're looking at right here. This is my front-end website. It is customizable. So of course, you can change the background picture, change your headshot. It's hooked up to your MLS. So it's got all of the properties that are for sale in your MLS listed in here. I've got testimonials put on here, which you can of course put in here. really nice. Has listings, just listeds, just reduced, a little bit about you, blog, blog posts, everything that you'd want to put in here. And this is all included with eXp. It's not like an optional thing that you have to pay extra for. It's included when you join eXp. And so I just want to kind of really quickly show you what it looks like if you are a client searching on this website, which I've gotten a lot of good compliments from my clients that have seen this website. So for instance, I just searched in the box Timberwood Park. That's just a neighborhood here in my area. I'm going to list all of the properties in Timberwood Park. You can see here 86 total listings, 4 new, 34 reduced, no foreclosures. You can grab a free market report, which a lot of my clients do grab those market reports, and you get notified when they do. But stats for the neighborhood, taxes, really, really good site. Of course, you can click into the properties, get more details about that property. But the best thing of all of this is that, yes, it's great for your current clients and stuff to be able to send them properties so that way they can visit your website versus going to like a Zillow or Realtor.com. But the cool thing is you can create a lot of marketing tools with this as like a landing page, put it on social media, put it on a billboard, put it on your direct mail stuff, whatever you want to do, but get people to your website because it's actually a lead generation website. And what I mean by that is you can see here, it just popped up. This is but basically, in order for them to keep looking at the properties, they're gonna have to register. They're gonna have to put their email address in, or they're gonna have to log in with Facebook, which you'll get their email address and and phone number from that. But either way, they're gonna have to register to continue looking at your website. And so, and a percentage of the people do, and a percentage don't, right? But either way, that's how you're gonna generate your leads. But if you come back here, this is the back-end system of KV Core. So once that lead registers, they're going to get transported over to here. And you can see here, I've got all of my leads right here. I can see exactly what properties those leads are looking at. All right. I can see which ones they're favoriting. And this is all just in the last couple days, right? I can see which ones are getting on here more often and more frequently. But anyways, that's just, the current activity of my clients. But I do want to show you also that this is actually a CRM in the sense that I've got all of my people listed in here. If I wanted to, at any given time, I can use this as like an email marketing tool. So I could, click all my clients and send out a mass email to all of them. Like if I get a new listing and I want to let everybody know about it, I can, send it out as an email. I could actually even send it out as a text message. You put the MLS ID right in here. And then send them, hey, Bob and Susie, I just got this new listing. I thought you guys might be interested in it. Let me know if you or somebody might be interested in a property like this. I've done that multiple times, and that gets people back to your website. It keeps you top of mind for them because now they're thinking about you. And even if that property is not something they're looking for, they at least know that you're active in the real estate space. And that took me all of 2 seconds to do that. So, I think that's really powerful. One of the other things that I want to show you real quick too is that even the back end of KV Core is hooked up to the MLS. And so what I can do, and I actually do this myself, is I come in here and I filter by just my agency's listings, right? And I say apply filters, and it's going to show me just the listings that are of eXp agents here in San Antonio. And I can take any single one of these, right? Like I click on this one here. And this is from an eXp agent, so I can, market it on my social media or whatever. I click on these 3 dots up here, and within 2 seconds, again, I can post it to Facebook, I can post it to Twitter, Pinterest, Craigslist. I can boost the property. So if you want to put a $5 boosted post or something like that, you can do that. And it's super quick. It makes you look like the expert because you're constantly, posting different properties. So even if you don't have listings of your own yet, you can, do this really quickly and efficiently. So that's another cool thing. But there's so much that this platform does. I mean, I can't go into all the details. We've got a lot of great training. A lot of those 30 hours that we do a week of training is focused around KV Core, so you can get in there and learn all the features of this. But squeeze pages, landing pages, you can do all that. You can build CMAs from here. There's an open house app that you can use. All that good stuff. Also, drip campaigns, like if you know what your clients are looking for and you want to set them up on a saved search, which I highly recommend. You can do search alerts. It even has behavioral automation, meaning like when somebody revisits your website, again, maybe they haven't been on it for 6 months and they come back to visit the website, KV Core is going to know that, and it's going to send that person an email or a text message automatically on your behalf, just saying like, hey, just want to see if anything changed in your life or whatever, right? And you can kind of customize that if you need. But it's just really cool that it'll trigger that from their activity on your website. So that is KV Core in a nutshell, as quickly as I can kind of go about doing it. I want to kick it back over to you, Curtis, and let me know if I missed anything.
No, you nailed it, man. And actually, you're 2 minutes under time, so I'm going to fill with a quick story. That was awesome, Kyle. Thank you for doing that. Guys, that's just a quick test drive of what we use every single day and the tools we have access to. But on the lead generation side, I just kind of want to make a point. I've been in technology for a really long time. I was an engineer in school, so I've been looking and thinking about technology for almost 15 years. And what I can tell you guys is in the real estate industry, there's a shift coming. And the average agent joining a team or out there doing business on their own, and it's going to impact team leaders and brokers as well. There's going to come a time where agents are no longer interested in splitting their commission in a big way. 50-50 team agreements and those sorts of things. We've built them. I've run a team. I know what they're all about. And ultimately, the agents are learning on somebody else's dime, and then they're going out and doing business themselves. And when they see the availability of systems like this, guys, why would they want to split 50-50 ever again, or 60-40 or 70-30? They're going to want to be on 80-20 because you can go throw 2 posts with 2 clicks and get 20 leads overnight. And if you're a good prospector and good at following up, you're going to change the course of your business. You're going to sell more houses that year. So the technology and stuff that eXp is offering, guys, sometimes the individual agent looks at it and says, that's great. But a team leader might look at it and say, oh, that's not impactful to me or my team. I promise you it is, whether they're with your team or not, or whether they're still at your brokerage or not. So it's something to pay attention to. It's unbelievable. I'm going to ask Ian Flanagan, guys, if he's here and on to unmute himself, guys. Ian Flanagan is a serial entrepreneur, and you guys might be noticing a trend. A lot of us are entrepreneurs, so we see the opportunity here. Ian's a digital marketing expert, been doing it for a long time. Just love to hear your perspective real quick, Ian, on KV Core and the power of the lead generation stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, Kyle, you knocked it out of the park. I remember you saying that you were converting everything, all your databases into KV Core. So it's great to see you really utilizing it. And I think most people, when they see a system like this, it can be a little bit overwhelming. But, the great thing about it is there's so much training, there's so much support that to help you basically build some momentum with the platform. So I've been using KV Core since I've been with eXp. Can you believe this, guys? I'm right there with Pat Hayes. I'm coming up on my 3-year next month, and it's just kind of blowing my mind that it's already been that long. But I fired up KV Core, and I've been driving traffic off of Google and doing retargeting on Facebook quite a bit. And Facebook marketing is the ticket because you can zero in. I was running buyer ads at the bulk of this past year, and I was using a local mortgage broker that I'm friends with and partners with as an ISA team. And you guys know that if you're running a lot of leads, you have to have an ISA pound the phones and really get in front of these folks to get them pre-qualified. So KV Core has been great for me. I refer pretty much all of my buyer business out. And then I kind of cherry pick some of those deals, but a KV Core has been great for myself. But if you think about it, having a robust platform like this for $50 a month, where can you go to get that?
Nowhere, man.
Yeah. So
that's bulk discount pricing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So $50 for an incredibly robust platform. And there's some other rock stars like Kyle and some other icon agents in the company that have really leveraged the platform and just dramatically increased their sales. But yeah, it's worked for me. It works for anybody if you use it, right? You turn it on, you use it, you will get leads, you will close more business, you will, it is what it is. So thanks for asking me to share. I hope that added some value after.
That was great, man. No,
Kyle,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, it's a great platform. It's for $50 a month. Come on, guys, it's a no-brainer.
Love it. Normally would cost, probably $5,000-$6,000 a year if you were buying this as an agent. So guys, I've got a couple more things for you. This is where the tone of the conversation, guys, is going to change here a little bit, because now we're really talking about your future, your business, whether you're an independent agent, a team leader, a broker owner. I know there's folks from all of those realms watching these webinars every single week, guys. Like I mentioned, the industry is shifting, and the technology that provides scalability and sustainability for any individual business owner, big team, or brokerage is really how you're going to separate yourself, guys, down the road, because what's happened in all these other industries, and it's happening right now in the real estate industry. And one thing to mention, guys, I just always like to highlight the difference, because if you're watching this presentation for the first time, or you're still doing your research or doing your diligence on eXp Realty, what you may not realize is how different we truly are from the other big name brokerages that you hear about out there. So the typical big brokerage, you know, the big ones in the nation are typically franchised, and eXp Realty is not. We are one brokerage. We're not selling franchises. We're not selling territories, guys. We're one big team working together. So when I was talking about the changing dynamics amongst teams and independent brokerages and stuff, I was actually talking to one of the formerly one of the largest independent brokers in the state of Louisiana. And I say formerly is because he's joined eXp Realty about a year ago. And he had at his peak about 150 agents in his brokerage, guys. And what he truly passionately cared about was being able to help them change their lives. You know, he was done in production as a broker owner. He was done selling for the most part day to day, but every single day he thought about, how am I going to help them grow? How am I going to help those agents make more money? And the agents there were all looking for those same answers. How am I going to expand? How am I going to sell in other markets? Do I have to pay another market center fee, another franchise fee, another royalty fee? How do I get the technology like we just talked about and not have to spend an arm and a leg? Boomtown can cost you $30,000 a year, guys, as an agent. If you're looking to do a lot of deals, those are the tools available to you, but they're not covered by other brokerages. And at eXp, we have the luxury and the capability to do that and a whole lot more. So the way that I like to break down the compensation portion, guys, in the business model at eXp Realty, you've probably heard some myths and some things out there. So I like to break it down to a super highway of real estate, right? So in the right lane, every single agent has access to this same commission and cost structure. So every single agent that joins eXp Realty can come on in an 80-20 split. And every single agent that joins eXp Realty has a $16,000 cap. Now, in a lot of markets across the country, that $16,000 is extremely low for your Californias and your New Yorks. In the heart of the country, that's pretty competitive. You're not going to find caps much lower typically. You're going to find a few caps pretty similar, right? So that's your commission and cap structure, guys. And after you hit that $16,000 cap, which is $80,000 in GCI, you're going to go to 100% commission structure for the rest of your anniversary year. And if you keep reading the fine print, guys, what happens when you go to 100% is you do have a flat $250 transaction fee for every transaction once you're capped. And if you sell a lot of real estate and you sell 20 more transactions, then your fees reduce down to $75. And if you'll follow over to the right-hand side with me at the very bottom, the last two bullet points, these actually belong on the left-hand side. Those are per transaction fees. So I don't want you to look at this right slide and say, oh my gosh, there's so many fees, because they're not. The $25 broker review fee is per transaction, and the $40 risk management fee is also per transaction. And that risk management fee actually caps. So after about 13 deals. Now, let's talk about what it costs to actually build your business at eXp Realty. Cost $149 one time, and 1 month later, your $85 a month fee comes out of your bank account. You get everything that we showed here, all the tools, all the training, access to the eXp University stuff. We didn't even go deep there, guys. So if you're a newer agent or you have curious about the training, the mentor programs, drop that in the chat and we'll answer it here afterwards, guys. But I talked about this only being lane one of the compensation, but here's a fact about what's going on with our brokerage and why we're growing so quickly. Just driving in lane one, typically, guys, is going to help you make more money. So if you're on this call right now, I urge you to take a screenshot of this, grab a sheet of paper after this presentation, take your 2018 production or your forecasted 2019 production, run it through this, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to earn more commissions on the eXp Realty platform. Now, if that's not enough for you and you say, how else can I change my financial future? How else can I grow my business, guys? There's agents at eXp Realty every single year earning more than 100% of their commissions. And Kyle's going to talk about how you guys can do that by driving in the middle lane and ultimately the fast lane, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Curtis. Yeah, so really cool. I love that analogy, guys. I mean, the 3 lanes, sales being one lane, right? Driving in one lane. Then the second lane is going to be what I'm going to talk about next. You can see it at the bottom of the screen, which is our equity opportunities. And then finally, the third lane we call the revenue share model. And that's actually the lane that you build when you want to get off the highway completely, right? So, and I'll kind of share how that works. And so just like Curtis said too, there's plenty of agents, myself and he and actually a few people on this call that the equity and the revenue that we're earning far exceeds what the fees that we're paying into eXp. So just keep an open mind for a little bit longer, hear this all out, and I think it'll all make sense at the end. But some great opportunities I'm going to share with you guys, in addition to what I've already shared on the business model or the business systems previously. So first off, this equity opportunities. This is, this has been life-changing for me, and I've only been here for 18 months, so it's pretty crazy to say that. But we get stock as being an eXp agent for doing just the normal things that we're going to do anyways. And I'll tell you a couple of those ways that we do that. So first off, we've got the Sustainable Equity Program, which is on your first transaction that you do with eXp Realty, eXp is going to give you shares of eXp stock. Whenever you fully cap, which Curtis had mentioned, that 16,000 is our cap. So basically that's $80,000 in gross commission income for the year. Once you do that, you pay 20% of that into eXp, that's 16,000. You've capped, eXp is going to give you stock for doing that. Last, whenever you sponsor an agent and that agent sells their first home, you're also going to get stock for free from doing that. So those are three ways that you can get it given to you. Now, the other program, and this is actually the second year that I can say that I've hit this, but I've become an icon agent at eXp Realty because of my production. So an icon agent, guys, what that is somebody who caps in a calendar year, and then they do an additional 20 transactions. So in my market, just to give you an idea, it takes me about 12 to 13 transactions to cap. Our average commission is $6,000 to $7,000. So I hit 80,000 gross commission in about 12 or 13 deals. And then if you do 20 transactions after that in the same year, now you're eligible to become an icon agent. So I did that the first year that I was here. And then now just in the last 6 months, I've done that again. So I've received all the 16,000 that I paid into the company cap back to me in the form of eXp stock. And let me just tell you guys, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that have heard certain things out there, both of what I've just talked about, the icon stock and the stock that you get for free from the Sustainable Equity Program, it is vested for 3 years. So I've got to stick with the company for 3 years to realize that stock, which is fine. I'm getting all that stock for free. I didn't pay a dime for it. I don't plan to go anywhere. So I'm just going to leave it in there. Heck, when I got here 18 months ago, the stock was $3 a share. So I'm happy making myself leave it in there, because if I didn't, I probably would have spent that money already. Knowing us as real estate agents, we spend our commission checks before we get them. So I'm happy to leave the money in there, and we'll see what it is, 3 years from down the road. Now, lastly, we also have the Agent Equity Program, which basically is an optional program. I chose to do this when I joined the company. But what it does is every commission that you have at the end of the month, eXp adds it up. It's done automatically for you in the background. You don't have to do anything except for just say you want to sign up for this program when you sign up. But then what they're going to do is they're going to take 5% of all your gross commission for that month. They're going to buy eXp stock for you at a 20% discount from whatever it's publicly traded at. So if it's at $10 a share, you're going to get it for $8 a share. And then they're going to put it in your account, and you can actually see this account on your eXp Enterprise dashboard, which is what I showed you guys earlier in the call. You can log in, you can see exactly how many shares you have from the Sustainable Equity Program, from the Icon Agent Award, from the Agent Equity Program. You can see all the stock that you've acquired from all of that. And I can tell you guys, in 18 months, I've acquired over 7,700 shares of eXp stock, which you can do the math. You can search EXPI on Google. You can see what it's being traded for. We are on the NASDAQ. We're publicly traded. I remember when I first got here, we were just over the counter. People were saying, oh, it's penny stock. It's not worth anything. Well, hey, let them keep saying that stuff, right? I'm just gonna be happy with my account, and we'll see what that's gonna be in the future. So anyways, that's our equity opportunity. And I want to share one other piece, which is the third lane, because this is the one, honestly, that this was like what put me over the edge to joining eXp Realty, because I saw this opportunity and I just thought, man, this is not only a great opportunity for me, but then it's a great opportunity that I could share with my agents. Because remember, I was an independent brokerage, just like what Curtis said. I had agents too, and I knew that what I was offering to those agents was not the best thing out there for them, right? It was the best thing maybe for me. And even in that case, if you know my whole story, it really wasn't. Having my own brokerage, it was never a profitable experience for me. The only reason that it was profitable was because I was the majority person bringing in all the deals, and it was cutting out the profits from my personal transactions. But without that being said, like I say, now that I moved over to eXp, I have seen that it has changed not only my life, but it's changed Curtis Dixon's life. I brought him over here with me, and now his life is forever changed. It's changed the lives of many other people that I've brought into this business just from the revenue share alone, in addition to everything else that we've already talked about. So I'm going to go over that real quick with you guys. So first off, how it works. Single agent revenue share, this is the easiest one to kind of understand. This is basically the revenue share that you earn whenever you sponsor somebody into the company. So say I sponsored Curtis Dixon into the company, I'm going to earn 3.5% of all of his gross commission income for as long as he's with the company, of up to $2,800 per year, because that's the once he caps, then obviously there's no more company dollar. The company's not earning anything after he caps. So I earn up to $2,800 a year off of his production. It's paid out of company dollars, and it does not reduce the agent commission. So that 20% that eXp is taking is where the revenue share comes from. It doesn't take away anything more from the agent's piece or anything like that. So it is coming out from the company side. And so let me give you an example. So let's say Curtis closes a home with a sales price of $300,000. His commission is going to be $9,000, 3% of that. So the next month, I would automatically get a direct deposit into my bank account for $315. I'm going to keep getting paid on that on all of his deals until he caps. And then the next year, the money starts rolling in all over again. So that is pretty amazing. Then it gets even better than that, guys. This next part, this is called cascading revenue share. So this part is basically, think of it in the sense of tiers, and I've got another slide here that I'll show you in a second. But say Curtis wants to take advantage of this opportunity as well and go out there and start attracting agents to eXp. Well, he can definitely do that, and I want to encourage him and help him and support him to do that, because as Curtis brings on agents into the company, I, as Curtis's sponsor, still earn revenue share from those agents, and that goes 7 tiers down. And so what you'll see, and it's a beautiful business model that Glen created, is that actually on your tier 2, you can see it over to the right, I earn up to $3,200 from any agent that Curtis sponsors. I actually get paid for more. I get paid more on agent Curtis sponsors than actually on Curtis himself. So agents on my second level, I would get up to $3,200 from each of those agents. And again, guys, it's not an all or nothing. It's like, if they don't cap, you don't get anything. It's a straight percentage. So just like, in the example, 3.5%, if Curtis just does one deal for the whole year, I get 3.5% of that deal. If Curtis is a capper, then of course I get 3.5% of all of his deals until he caps. And the same thing for every agent on all 7 tiers. So that being said, there is no limit to the amount an agent can earn from revenue share. And I'm going to give you kind of some examples here of a little bit more how those tiers look. But you got your first tier, which again, tier 1 is anybody that you personally sponsor. Tier 2 is anybody that people on your tier 1 sponsor. And tier 3, going all the way down to somebody that your tier 2 sponsors. Now, the column on the right, pay special attention to that, because that tells you how many agents on your first tier you need to have to be able to unlock that particular tier. So for instance, I've got personally sponsored 30 real estate agents into the company. That being said, I've unlocked tiers 1 through tier 6. So if I have anybody on my tier 7, which at this time, I think I've maybe got a handful of agents, not very many, I've not unlocked that tier yet to earn revenue share until I have 40 personals sponsored on my first tier. So that is what I'm shooting for. That being said, guys, I'm going to give you an example here in a little bit that just goes to show you don't need to have 40 agents to make life-changing amounts of revenue share. So for instance, what I want to show you right now is, say you just want to go out and get 5 cappers or 5 agents that, maybe they cap, maybe they don't. And then we're going to help them go out and get 5 agents each as well. And maybe this takes you 5 years, right? You're going to go out and get 1 agent a year. They're going to go out and get 1 agent a year, right? It takes you 5 years to do that. Well, take a look at what this actually amounts to at the end of it all. So you get off those 5 agents on your tier 1, you're going to earn 14,000 in revenue share that first or each year. And then on those 25 agents that would be on your tier 2, you'd be earning $80,000 in revenue share annually, which equates to $94,000 annually in revenue share. And maybe you say, okay, well, hey, they're not all going to be cappers. All right, say they're all half cappers, right? Which is pretty modest from what I've seen with this business model. That would still be well over $47,000 a year in residual passive income. Where else are you going to be able to go at a real estate brokerage and have that kind of residual income opportunity? And so let me just put this into perspective a little bit for you guys. So $94,000 a year in residual income. In order to earn that amount of money residually, you'd have to have the equivalent of $1.5 million free and clear in the bank, in an investment property, in whatever, earning 6% to be able to earn $94,000. So to me, you know, and maybe you're thinking like, that's kind of crazy. I mean, I'll even break it down like this. $12,000 in annual residual income. That's $1,000 per month. You'd have to have $200,000 free and clear saved up, earning 6% just to get $1,000 a month in rev share. And there's probably 1,000 agents earning $1,000. I mean, there's a lot of agents earning $1,000 a month in rev share. You know, I can tell you there's multiple ones on this phone call here tonight. So definitely something that's you know, possible, and something that you can do certainly in, you know, a couple years, you know, 1 year, 2 years, 3 months, just depends on how quickly you go at it. But I want to ask this question to you. So if I stayed with my current real estate broker, how long would it take me at my current pace to save $1.5 million? So even if you could save after taxes, living expenses, all that, $94,000 a year, it would still take 17 years to save up $1.5 million. I would rather go out and get 5 agents and help those people get 5 agents, right? It's way easier to do that than to save up $1.5 million. I've been working really hard for 11 years and I don't have $1.5 million saved up. I can tell you that much. So that's pretty amazing that we have that opportunity. And guys, you know, some of y'all, I know you're thinking like, well, I'm not a real estate recruiter. I wasn't either. It took me 4 years to get 15 agents. And those 15 agents I had at my independent brokerage, they were all like friends of mine, right? Like, you know, I was never recruiting. I wasn't going to the schools. I wasn't doing anything. I've never been a real estate recruiter. I sell real estate. That's my primary thing. And then I have an opportunity to talk to other agents because of that. Oops, sorry, here, let me unshare this. And I have an opportunity to talk to them because I'm on the other ends of deals with them. And that's how I, you know, get in and I start to, you know, talking to them about eXp. And some people are receptive, some people aren't. Some people it takes 2-3 years to get them to join. Some people are ready to join in the, you know, same day that you talk to them. It just depends, but you kind of learn it as you go. But it's not something that you have to stop your real estate business to do. Like I say, I'm still doing real estate at a very high level. I still will, you know, I plan to continue doing real estate until, you know, the foreseeable future, to when my revenue share just takes over and I can maybe go retire on a beach or something, which I don't think I could do that, but I'm too ADD and I've got too much going on all the time to think that I'm just going to stop. But I will say, you know, it's definitely happening a lot faster than I would have thought. You know, 18 months, 119 real estate agents on my team. Right now, it really just about pays all of my living expenses. I can honestly tell you guys right now that all the revenue share that I earn from eXp, from those 119 agents, already pretty much clears my entire living expenses. So, all right, how do you join eXp Realty? Really easy 3-step process. You fill out the online application, which get back to the person that invited you to this webinar and have them send you their join link. We all have specific join links that you can sign up under. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get an email back to you from HelloSign with your independent contractor agreement that you can electronically sign. And that basically is all of your duties to eXp, eXp's duties to you. So you definitely want to read through it, make sure you understand everything. But once you sign that, then you're going to go to your specific real estate board. So like in Texas, I would go to the Texas Real Estate Commission, and I would request sponsorship of my license by eXp. And there's instructions. Once you've signed that independent contractor agreement, you're going to get an email. And depending on the specific state you're with, it might be a little bit different for each state. But they're going to tell you the instructions of how you request that sponsorship. Once you've requested the sponsorship, they check to make sure your independent contractor agreement is on file and signed. And then boom, you move right through. Now, I will say this process can take anywhere from 3 days, I've seen at the earliest, all the way to 7 or 8 days at the longest. So if you have a transaction that maybe is coming up and you want to get in on the 80-20 split, or you just you're ready to get going with eXp, I would highly recommend at least to fill out your application tonight. Nothing happens with your license in those first 2 steps. Your current broker doesn't, get wind of it or anything like that. You can literally fill out the application. You can fill out the independent contractor agreement. And as long as you don't even, do anything with your state license, nothing happens to your license with your current brokerage. Nobody is aware of anything that happened. And then you have 90 days to actually move your license over to eXp after you've done that independent contractor agreement. So if you're still doing your due diligence, hey, by all means, do your due diligence. But I will tell you, as you peel back the onion on eXp, it literally just gets sweeter and sweeter. We've got a lot of people on this call, I know still, that want to give their testimony and kind of just share with you guys a little bit about how eXp has changed their life. But I just want to end with this one.
Hey, Kyle,
quick.
We lost your screen. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh.
We lost your screen share. So people didn't see the 3-point slide. Apologize. I was just jumping in. I was taking a
no problem
quick message.
Yeah. So real quick, guys, just to give you here. Yeah, this is the 3 steps real quick. Online application, independent contractor agreement, and then the state licensing right there. So, but I just want to end you guys before we get over to the testimonials with this real quick. In 2004, Mark Zuckerberg, he invited 5 people to his Harvard dorm room to discuss a business opportunity. We all know that today. That was Facebook. 2 showed up and they got in. Dustin Moskovitz is worth $12.7 billion. Eduardo Saverin is worth $9.64 billion. What a lesson for those other 3 and all of us. Nothing's more expensive than a closed mind. This is honestly, guys, this is what did it for me. Not this particular slide, but in my mind, my thinking was, hey, I'll give it 6 months. I'll give it 1 year, right? If it's not what it's cracked up to be, I can go back to whatever I was doing. I could have my independent brokerage in a heartbeat if I wanted to. I could go back to whatever other brokerage, I was with if I wanted to. But if I don't get in on this opportunity and it continues to take off, and I miss out on a year or 6 months and I delay it, well, then I might have missed the boat. So for me, it was just that important that I got in right away. So I'm glad I did. I'm going to open this up. Curtis, you can take it from here, man, and get some people to give us their testimonials.
Guys, thank you, Kyle. That was awesome. So it's right at 6 o'clock. So understand many of you might have budgeted 1 hour. Give me 5 more minutes because I want to introduce Mr. Pat Hayes, guys. Pat's built an amazing business in a short amount of time by taking, the opportunity by the horns. And I just would love to turn it over to Pat, let him tell a little bit of his story.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you guys. And fantastic job, Kyle and Curtis. Man, you guys crushed it. And wow, look at this. I mean, we saw 57 agents still on after 1 hour, man. That's powerful, guys. You guys crushed it. So congratulations to you guys. So yeah, guys, I'm Pat Hayes here in San Antonio with eXp. And a little bit about myself. I've actually had my real estate license since about 2008. And while I was actually doing medical sales here in San Antonio, I started in real estate doing farm and ranch, and got out of medical sales and bought a business, grew that for 3 years, sold that, and wanted to get back into real estate, but more on the residential side. And so I did that and started with a boutique brokerage firm. And so my first year, I did about $3.2 million in production as a single agent and wanted to leverage myself. And the only way for me back then to leverage myself was for me to be a team leader. So I started a team, the Pat Hayes Group. And so my second year, I did about $12.5 million in production, 61 transactions. And I got a life-changing phone call 38 months ago by my mentor and sponsor, Scott Lewis, wanting me to have an open mind to take a look at a new business model that was disrupting the real estate industry and also changing the way that agents got compensated. I said, absolutely, I'll definitely take a look at it and have an open mind. And I definitely want to know my competition out there and see what's out there. And so I did. And whenever I met with him, I also met with 2 other legends and leaders in the real estate industry. If you guys don't know who Rob Flick and Gene Frederick are, they're big leaders and legends in the real estate industry, and they all came from Keller Williams. Also, Scott and Tracy Lewis came from Keller Williams, and I was blown away that all 3 of them had left Keller Williams. Rob Flick came out of retirement after growing Keller Williams for over 18 years. Gene Frederick was a leader and a legend with the Keller Williams organization for about 21 years. He actually owned several franchises in several regions, and he actually sold everything to launch eXp here in Texas about 4 years ago. And so I thought that was a big deal. I knew that was a big deal because I knew how powerful Keller Williams was. And so I was blown away that all three of the leaders that I was talking to at that time, that they all had left Keller Williams to come over and start, eXp here in Texas, and then also with Scott Lewis in San Antonio. So I said, guys, I'm all in. I love this business model. This is a no-brainer for me. I saw the revenue share. I saw the equity with the stock. I saw the training, and I saw the lead generation systems. And I said, guys, this is a no-brainer for me. I'm moving my whole entire team over at the time. And so I did. So fast forward, guys, I've been with eXp now for 38 months. And just like Kyle was saying that, we're agent owned and agent grown. And so we can actually grow this company together. We don't have corporate recruiters out there paid hefty salaries growing this organization for us. We as shareholders are actually growing this company. So I've personally sponsored 36 agents to the company. Out of those 36 agents, I built a revenue share organization of 1,475 agents spanning 42 states and 3 Canadian provinces, paying me last month a residual income from the revenue share part of the business from eXp of like closing a $1.7 million house at 3% commission. Guys, do the math. That's a lot of money. That's on top of my commissions from the production. That's also on top of the stock that I've acquired several different ways. And so, this opportunity has truly, truly changed my life. And, for the guests that are on there, I just ask yourself, hey, have an open mind. I had an open mind. I do a lot of presentations all across the country. We do one here live in San Antonio every single Friday. And I literally say, hey guys, if you don't believe in this model, you don't think it's real, you don't think it's sustainable, you think there's something better out there, bring me another business model. I'll analyze it. And if it beats eXp, I'll join you guys tomorrow. Guys, I'm still here 38 months later. And I know, that being said, that 38 months ago, whenever I saw this business model, I knew that I made the right decision to move my team over to eXp. And, guys, I've never seen anything like this. I've never heard so many life-changing stories that, eXp has come into these agents' lives and changed their lives. I love real estate, just like all of you on the call here. It's my passion. It's my livelihood. But I don't want to be 85 years old putting a sign in the front yard and a lockbox on the front door because I didn't have an open mind and I didn't align myself with the best brokerage firm a realtor can be at. And so, guys, that being said, this opportunity has truly changed my life. And this is only the beginning. We're at 16,000 agents strong. Just imagine whenever we're at 50,000 agents, 150,000 agents, 300,000 agents. Guys, this is truly the beginning. This is the garage of eXp. And, whatever I can do to help and serve you guys, I'm here to help. And, thanks for giving me the opportunity to share my testimonial.
I love it. Thank you, Pat. Yeah. And so guys, just like you seen, so Pat, of course, is my sponsor here at eXp. And one of the cool things that I want to point out, because maybe, you couldn't have just understood this from the presentation, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes as far as one another helping each other. It takes real estate agents and, the traditional feel of a brokerage is you're kind of like competing with each other. It's always, this kind of cutthroat business model. Whereas with eXp, I've never seen a company that collaborates more because we're all one. We're one company. We're all, of course, got stock in the company.
What is it?
We got, mute a mic here, Curtis. You get it? Yeah, I'm just gonna mute all. Yeah, it's basically, we're one company and that allows us to all kind of work together towards this, common goal. And I love working every single day with Pat. He'd become a family friend of ours. We're at his house probably twice a week, if not more. So we were just there the other day and we're brainstorming, thinking up ways that we can, sell more real estate, attract more agents, and just be better people for our team. Just like we're trying to do, tonight, doing these webinars for a team. Where else do you know of other agents doing things like this for other agents at your brokerage? So anyways, guys, Curtis, I don't know if we have any other testimonials teed up, but I'm happy to, kind of start getting into some questions and getting into the Q&A if we are ready.
Yeah, Kyle, let's just open up the chat, guys, or open up the Q&A. If you guys do have a question and you don't feel comfortable opening up your mic, just drop it in the chat box for us. I've got a couple of private messages here that'll allow us to kind of kick things off, Kyle, real quick. If you want to just give a quick overview of how the broker's role at eXp and kind of how you conduct your business. You talked about the support teams. And then the other question we always get is a little bit about how this works for new agents at eXp. And then if anybody else has some questions, guys, just have them ready. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, so really cool. So if you are a real estate broker and you're watching this right now, so first off, it definitely is it's a complete change of pace, change of thinking. If you own your own brokerage or you're a broker now and you're responsible for agents, when you come to eXp, you basically become an associated broker. You become an associated broker, and really the liability is no longer on your shoulders. You still sponsor the agents that you are bringing into the company. So say you're a broker of 3 agents or 100 agents, it doesn't matter. You bring them into the eXp company, and now those agents are on your tier 1, right? So you're their sponsor. They're underneath you still, but you are not their broker. Whatever state you're in, we've already got a state broker there. We're in all 50 states, and we're in, I believe is it 3 or 4 Canadian provinces now, Pat? Either way, we're in
3.
Three Canadian provinces. So we've already got brokers for all of these different provinces and states. So if you come over as a broker, you'll be an associated broker. And so the liability falls on that broker at that time. And so, as far as questions go, what I like to say about that is you're still their sponsor. So if you want to, still help, which hopefully you do, and help them out as much as you can, great. But at the end of the day, especially if it's like a legal question or something like that, you probably want that going to the broker because that's where that question is supposed to go. So you as a broker no longer have to be the center of the universe for all of those agents. And that's really the beautiful business model about eXp, is that you can still earn a nice residual income from agents when they do transactions, but you no longer have to be the center of everything. You don't have to build the systems and the tools. You're no longer responsible for your name on that lease for that brick and mortar office. You're not responsible for all of those agents' actions underneath you. You don't have to buy all the tacos and get those agents into those offices just to watch a training, which they never come to, right? So like eXp does all of that. You now become the person that points people in the right direction. So if you get a question, what I try to do is say, hey, that's a great question. Have you been to KV Core 101 to check in on that? Have you talked to the broker about that? Have you done this? And usually 9 times out of 10, they're like, well, no, I haven't done that. I'm like, all right, go do that. If you still can't figure it out, come back to me. And then they don't, they usually get their questions answered that way. So that is a lot better than in the previous when I had my own brokerage, and that question would come up. I had nothing else to lean on. So certain questions might take me 3, 4, 5 hours, blow up an entire day of mine because I wasn't prepared for it. So that's a good way to kind of explain the brokerage situation. And then as far as new agents go, if you're watching this presentation, you're a brand new agent, guys, there's not I think a more supportive company to be coming to, because the way I like to point it out is you get 3 people that are going to be dedicated for your support as a new agent. So first off, of course, you're going to have your sponsor that you name as your sponsor when you join the company. And then if you have not done 3 or more transactions in the last year, eXp is going to assign you a mentor that is in your market to be able to help you through those transactions, those first 3 transactions, and answer certain specific questions and be there for you, give you your phone number or however they handle that. But you're going to get a mentor, and then you're also going to get your broker. So you have 3 people: a sponsor, a broker, and a mentor. Plus, like I say, we've got a great mentor checklist that you go through, and it's its own little academy that you're going to go through just being a mentee. And then we've, of course, got lots of ongoing training that you can constantly be taking. You can constantly be consuming all of those videos inside of our cloud office. So lots of good things. All right, Curtis.
Love it, man. So I failed everybody, guys. After Pat Hayes' testimony, I was supposed to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being I'm ready to join eXp Realty right now, where are you? And that's supposed to be the setup for anybody who's brave enough to type a number in the chat that's not a 10. That's the setup for our questions, right? What's it going to take if you're not at a 10? If you're at a 7, you're at an 8. What's it going to take to get you to a 10? What did we leave out? What are you still curious about? What are you still wondering?
Hey, yeah. Curtis, right here. I've got a new agent that's ready to go right now.
Nice, dude. He's not too far off when he turns 18, man.
That's right.
Too cute. Sign him up.
Yeah, I just thought about it the other day, man. In a couple of years, I'll have had my license half of my life. I got my license at 18. I'm 32, so I've had it for 14 years.
Wow.
So crazy.
Hey, Thank you
Awesome,
guys
man.
for the private chats. I'm getting a couple private chats. People were excited. People appreciated it. Still doing some research, guys. Again, get back to the agent who invited you here. And the other cool thing and the power of our team at eXp Realty, guys, you saw the model. That is the most risk-free, exciting way to build a team ever. So Pat said, like, the only way to leverage himself after selling a lot of houses the first year, the only way to scale was to build a team. And there's a different way to build a team now, guys. You have a team of people dying to help you grow, dying to support you. When you win, we win. That's the team structure. So if you still have questions, if you're still doing diligence, don't just rely on your friend who invited you here. Ask them to plug you into the rest of the team. Ask them if you can jump on the phone with Kyle or Pat or myself or Patricia or Ian. We're glad to do it. Can't wait to meet you. So just leverage us, guys. Anything we can do to help. Welcome, Marsha. Congratulations. Tom Tobin, thanks for sharing your story, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we got Tom Strong here too, guys. Just don't want to miss out. Tom said he's willing to share his story.
Awesome. Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah, I want to say something real quick because you just mentioned leverage and, made me think about, at my past brokerage, right? So the way that I thought of leverage or the way that I thought of building a team or building a brokerage was kind of the field of dreams model, right? Like if you build it, they will come, right? That's how I had thought about it. And I thought, man, I just got to keep spending more money. I got to keep doing this, right? And then eventually the money's going to come in, right? Well, I got to the point where literally my fourth year, my overhead, guys, was about $30,000 a month, right? Between having an office, having, staff to man that office. We had, lead generation coming in. We bought all of our systems. We had Boomtown. We had, Firepoint. We had, Facebook ads, Google ads, everything you could imagine. Our monthly budget was $30,000 a month, guys. And I'll tell you, the 20% that I was getting from my 15 agents never covered it, never at all. And the financial risk I put myself and my family in just to be able to try and create leverage was something that I wouldn't wish on anybody. And like I say, now I've been with eXp, I've got no financial risk, yet I've got all the upside of the agent attraction piece and the leverage that I'm building, and then the agents underneath are building as well that I'm helping them to build. And that's the beautiful business model about eXp. I don't think there's another model that can touch that. There's nothing that comes close. And so if you're still watching this, guys, I hope that speaks to you, because again, we all don't want to be selling real estate for the rest of our lives. We do want some form of leverage. Maybe it's not, leverage to get completely out of the business. Maybe it's just leverage because if you have a bad month and you don't sell a home, you still want $500 to come in or $1,000 to come in. Maybe, that helps you go on a vacation or have peace of mind to go on a vacation more. Whatever that is, that's leverage. And I think that's what we're all after, versus the traditional way of thinking at real estate is you're only good as your last transaction. So if we've got Tom, man, I'd love to get Tom on the line because he is a walking, talking billboard for eXp.
Let me set this up here, guys. Let me set this up. So you remember I said on that slide, a rising tide lifts all ships, and why it matters to you how many agents are joining eXp Realty is because there's only, this guy's 1 in a million, but, for every group of agents that joins, there's somebody, another Tom Trong that comes in. And Tom has personally lifted my ship. I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years. I've been in real estate for 4 short, amazing years. And I've done a lot of different things, but I've never worn the shoes that Tom has worn. I've never built and grown a brokerage. I've never sold my independent brokerage. I haven't seen many downturns in the real estate industry. And we're blessed to be surrounded by peers and mentors and partners like Tom that have weathered these storms, that can teach you how to grow your real estate business, teach you the power of passive and residual income. So Tom, if you're on, man, we'd love to have you unmute your microphone and just share a little testimonial here with us. And if there's any questions afterwards, guys, we'll stick around. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up after Mr. Tom Trong.
Sounds good, Curtis. Cal, what an amazing job. I tune in to get fired up listening to you guys every single week, man. You, Curtis, Pat Hayes, you guys are absolutely incredible. You re-energize me every week. Yeah, so quick testimonial, guys. Before my real estate life, I was a chief financial officer for a publicly traded company. I did that for 13 years. I'm now in the real estate business now for 15 years. So 2 years longer than climbing that corporate ladder in the finance world. And I can tell you, I have the personal and financial freedom building this real estate business. It was just 13 months ago when Scott and Tracy Lewis reached out to me about this real estate business. And, at first I was not looking. But then when I opened up my mind, and my mind was like a parachute, and I absorbed everything, I tried to poke holes in this model that you guys saw today. I could not poke one hole in this model. So I said, I'm gonna give it a go. So I'm a financial guy, so I crunch numbers. This morning, I woke up early, and the first thing I did was I crunched my numbers on how I did over the past 12 months with eXp compared to how I did the 12 months prior to eXp. So you guys are hearing this news for the first time tonight. In 2017, I sold $15 million worth of real estate. $15 million, okay? Not too shabby at 2.5% commission. In 2018, my real estate sales volume went down. Yes, you heard it. It went down from 15 million to 13 million. All right, so from a real estate commission perspective, that $2 million difference at 2.5% commission is a reduction of $50,000 in my real estate sales income. Here's the catch, and here's the good news. I didn't work any less. Instead of spending about 2 hours a day selling more houses, I invested the 2 hours a day attracting agents to my team. 1 year later, I have basically over 200 agents on my expanded team in 18 states, and I have created a revenue share, residually, mailbox money of over 6 figures. So when I took a dive for $50,000 in real estate income, I doubled my residual income base. And whether I work tomorrow or not, that mailbox money keeps coming in. For the agents who's listening to this for the first time, you can explode your real estate sales business with eXp, with KV Core, with the systems that Cal so eloquently shared with you guys when he logged on to the world and our platform. You can absolutely grow your real estate business. But if you invested an hour or two a day sharing this concept with other agents, we're not selling anybody, we're not convincing anybody. Our job is just to make sure you fully understand what you have on your hands, and then the rest is up to you. And for those who decide to come along for this ride, you've got these amazing leaders here to help you along the way. Thank you, boys. I'm so happy I made that move because I've got residual income doubling what I left on the table for sales income. And this year, I'm going to crank it up even more.
I love it, Tom. I'm glad to be in business with you, brother, man. It's so crazy how what this company does, man. But a guy from Boston and a guy from San Antonio, man, like we didn't even know each other before this, and now we're like best buds whenever we see each other. So I can't wait to see you again next. Awesome, guys. Well, we still got 44 people on this call. Holy smokes, this is crazy. I love it.
Who needs something? You know, there's no way to follow up Tom Chong's testimony, but who's got a question? Who needs some help? We're here if y'all need us. Otherwise, I think my little man's outside shooting baskets, so I'm going to go catch a few minutes of daylight.
Yeah, absolutely, guys.
Hey, man, great job, everyone. Great job.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Pat. Hey, thanks, everybody. Y'all have a great night. We'll talk to you later.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.